Hello, everyone. Before I start my presentation for my oral report, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Raya A. Orosio. I am a first year student studying Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. Now, for my oral report, this is a summary of what I've learned for this subject, the children and adolescent learner and learning principles, week 1 to 3. To begin with, let's start with week 1. For week 1, our topic is all about human development. Now, human development refers to physical, cognitive, and psychosocial development of humans throughout the lifespan. Physical development involves growth and changes in the body and brain, the senses, motor skills, and health and wellness, while cognitive development involves learning, attention, memory, language, thinking, reasoning, and creativity. Psychosocial development involves emotions, personality, and social relationship. Now, human development is the pattern of movement or change that begins at conception and continues through lifespan. This means that development can be positive or negative. Development is relatively orderly. Now, proximodal pattern is where you will lean to sit, crawl, then walk before you can run. The muscular control of the trunk and arms comes earlier compared to the hands and fingers, while cephalocaudal pattern is when during infancy. The greatest growth always occur at the top. Development takes place gradually. Development as a process is complex because it is the product of biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional processes. For week 2, the topic for week 2 is about stages of development. Now, for every development stage, there is an expected developmental task. First, prenatal period. Prenatal period takes place from conception to birth. I have learned that prenatal period involves tremendous growth, from single cell to an organism complete with brain and behavioral capabilities. Now, infancy. Infancy is from birth to 2 years. It is a time of extreme dependence on adults. Many psychological activities are just beginning, like language, symbolic thought, sensorometer coordination, and social learning. Next is early childhood. I have learned that early childhood is the end of infancy to 5 to 6 years. Grade 1. These are the preschool years. Young children learn to become more self-sufficient and to care for themselves, develop school readiness and skills, and spend many hours in play with peers. Now, middle and late childhood. This is 6 to 11 years of age, the elementary school years. Now, middle and late childhood, the fundamental skills here of reading, writing, and arithmetic are already mastered. The child here is formally exposed to the larger world and its culture. Achievements become more central theme of the child's world, and self-control increases. Next, the adolescence. Adolescence is 10 to 12 years of age, ending up to 18 to 22 years of age. This adolescence begins with rapid physical changes, dramatic gains in height and weight, changes in body contour, and the development of sexual characteristics such as enlargement of the breasts, development of pubic and facial hair, and deepening the voice. Pursuit of independence and identity are prominent. Thought is more logical, abstract, and idealistic. More time is spent outside of the family. Now, early adulthood. Early adulthood from late teens or early 20s lasting through the 30s. This is a time establishing personal and economic independence. career development, selecting a mate, learning to live with someone in an intimate way, starting a family, and rearing a child. Now, let's proceed with middle adulthood. This is 40 to 60 years of age. This is a time of expanding personal and social involvement and responsibility. Middle adulthood has a responsibility of assisting the next generation in becoming competent and mature individuals and reaching and maintaining satisfaction in a career. Last but not the least, late childhood. This is 60 years old and above. It is a time for adjustment to decreasing strength and health, life review, retirement, and adjustment to new social roles. Now for week 3. Week 3 is about research in child and adolescent development. The topic here is about teachers as consumers and users of research, teachers as researchers, the scientific method, research design, data gathering technique. First, teachers as consumers and users of research. Research gives teachers and also policymakers important knowledge to use in decision making for the benefit of ours, like learners and their families. Now, well-informed teachers are able to use and integrate the most authoritative research findings. Research enables our teachers to come up with informed decision on what to teach us and how to teach. This involves decision related to educational policies, curriculum, effective learning processes, and even those involving research too. It can help us to be more knowledgeable about how to fit our teaching development levels of our learners. Now, there is one important principle in research, and that is scientific method. Researchers basically follow the scientific method. Zhuwei gave us 5 steps of the scientific development. So these are the following steps that researchers basically follow. First, identify and define the problem. Second, determine the hypothesis. Third, collect and analyze data. Fourth, formulate conclusions. Fifth, apply conclusions to the original hypothesis. To simply explain, I have learned that identifying the problem is the first step. Next to this is to be followed by stating a tentative answer to the research problem called the hypothesis. Hypothesis is also referred to as an educated guess. Now, research design. Researchers that are done with high level of quality and integrity provide us with valuable information about child and adolescent development. To be able to conduct quality research, it is important that we know various research designs and different data gathering techniques used by developmental researchers. Example of a research design. First, case study. It provides information about an individual's fears, hopes, fantasies, traumatic experiences, upbringing, family relationships, health, and anything that helps a psychologist understand that person's development. Second, correlational study. Correlational study is a research design that determines associations. Correlation study is useful because the more strongly two events are correlated, then the more we can predict one from the other. Third, experimental. Experimental is a research design that determines cause and effect relationships. Now, experimental is the only true reliable method of establishing cause and effect. Next is, we have 5 techniques for data gathering. First, observation. Observations can be made in either laboratories or natural settings. Second, physiological measures, certain indicators of children's development, such as, among others, heart rate, hormonal levels, bone growth, body weight, and brain activity are measured. Third, standardized. These are prepared tests that assess individuals' performance in different domains. Fourth, interviews and questionnaires. This involves asking the participants to provide information about themselves. And fifth, life history records. These are records of information about a lifetime chronology of events and activities. Now, ethical principles. To serve the genuine purposes of research, researchers are subject to ethical principles. Just as we have the code of ethics that governs the behavior of teachers, there also exist ethical standards that guide the conduct of research.